I felt in my heart that I had to stop everything and tell you this right now, not later, not tomorrow, this moment. Because the choices you make today can open important doors in your life, or let the opportunity slip away. This isn't just another message, it's a wake-up call, a push for you to reflect and take action. There's a real chance for financial and personal change very close to you. But if you're not alert and don't move, you could miss it. You've felt that pull inside before, that quiet voice telling you, I need a breakthrough, I need a change. Maybe this is exactly the moment to take that step. You've been generous in the dark. You've been generous in the dark. Kind when no one was looking, faithful when it would have been easier to give up, and now heaven is responding. God says, because you stayed when others walked away, because you gave when it cost you everything, because you believed when nothing made sense. Now it's your turn, but hear this clearly. Heaven operates in faith and obedience, not feelings and delay. The money being released today is not just provision, it's purpose. It's a transfer assigned to your hands for a divine reason. And the enemy knows it. That's why he's been fighting you so hard. Not because of where you are, but because of what you're about to carry. You see, Satan doesn't waste warfare. If he's been attacking your finances, your peace, your relationships, it's because your blessing terrifies him. This is not hype. This is not a coincidence. You were led to this message for a reason. This is a prophetic alert from the throne of heaven. God is shaking the systems of this world and rooting wealth into the hands of the faithful. That's you. That's why your spirit feels like it's waking up right now. Because it's not just money. It's a mantle, a responsibility, a divine appointment written in the archives of eternity. And you've just stepped into the moment the generations prayed you would arrive in. God says, I've prepared a table in the presence of your enemies. I've opened the vaults of heaven. I've instructed the angels to release what was once delayed. But he also says, what you do next determines what happens next. Don't scroll past this. Don't brush it off. Because right now the heavens are open, and your name is echoing in the chambers of destiny. This is not random. This is not accidental. This is orchestration at the highest level. Heaven is watching, hell is nervous, and the blessing is moving. You may feel tired. You may feel forgotten. But that's exactly why this blessing is being released. God does not pick the proud. He promotes the faithful, the broken, the ones who whispered prayers while wiping tears off tired faces. And if you're still listening, that means it's you. You are the one he wants to trust. The own he's been preparing, the one he is now calling forward. Because the money coming isn't just for bills. It's for building not just comfort but kingdom change. But here's the warning. If you let doubt speak louder than this moment, the blessing will retreat. Heaven never forces its gifts on a closed heart. And what has been released must be received. The blessing will retreat. This is not about luck. This is not about logic. This is about spiritual readiness. Because money in the wrong hands is dangerous. But in the right hands, it's unstoppable. And God has chosen you. Why now? Because you've proven in the wilderness what most never reveal in public. Obedience. When no one saw, when no one clapped, when giving hurt. When believing felt foolish, you stayed. And now God says, because you were faithful with little, I'm preparing to trust you with much. But listen carefully. This blessing doesn't come to prove a point. It comes to fund a mission. God is sending money not to make you famous, but to make you fruitful. This is about impact, about legacy, about lifting others as your eyes. The money you're about to receive carries kingdom weight, and that's why it's sacred. That's why you must open it, because unopened blessings become missed miracles, and this one can't afford to be lost. Right now, angels are aligning circumstances, unlocking opportunities, preparing divine introductions, but they're waiting for your response, your agreement. Heaven never forces, it responds, and this is your responding moment. Type, I receive it. If your heart agrees, declare, I trust God's provision. If your spirit is stirred, because every word you speak in faith shakes the resistance the enemy tried to build around your destiny. You've fought long enough, you've cried long enough, and you've prayed long enough. The money is coming, not from a person, not from asking, from heaven itself, designed by God, timed by God, released by God, but it must be opened by faith. That is the instruction. That is the key, because obedience always precedes overflow always. God says, I've seen your faith, now I want to reward it. But he also says, I will not pour my treasure into hands that tremble with fear. This is your moment to break fear's grip. This is your moment to rise. You've survived. This is your moment to rise too much, to doubt now. You've sacrificed too much to walk away now. You've waited too long to miss this now. Heaven is at your door, knocking with blessing in hand. Will you answer? The money is more than numbers. It's an assignment, a prophetic key that unlocks more than just your breakthrough. It unlocks doors for others too. Family members, ministries, dreams that have been shelved for too long. God is about to make you a vessel of provision, and not just once. This is about continual supply, rivers that don't run dry, provision that follows purpose, but it starts here with belief, with action, with trust. You are not just receiving, you are being positioned. Positioned to fund, positioned to free others, positioned to build what others only talk about, positioned to live from overflow and not survival. That's what this money is for. And that's why this moment is so critical, because it won't wait. Prophetic windows don't stay open forever, and once it closes, it closes. So what will you do? Will you scroll past a word that was sent to change your life? Or will you step into it with boldness, with faith, with readiness? Because your response is the lock, and your faith is the key. And God is asking you now, will you trust me enough to open it? You've asked for provision. You've cried for breakthrough. You've prayed for a sign. This is it. This is the confirmation your soul has been waiting for. The very atmosphere around you is shifting right now, because the vault has been opened, the transfer has been released, and all of heaven is waiting for one thing, your agreement. Say it with conviction. God, I'm ready, I believe. I receive. I will not miss what you've prepared for me. And now the blessing moves. The angels go. The door cracks open. And the money, divine, targeted, heaven-sent is on its way. All that's left is you. Right now in the spirit realm, something extraordinary is happening. Quietly but powerfully, a divine transaction has been initiated. You can't see it with your natural eyes, but if your heart is tuned to the frequency of heaven, you'll feel it. God is transferring wealth not just to anyone, but to someone who has been prepared in secret. Someone who has been faithful when it made no sense. Someone who has prayed in private, fasted insolence, and remained obedient in the shadows. That someone is you. This money isn't ordinary. It's not the result of hustle or connections or clever strategies. This money is heaven-authorized, angel-delivered, spiritually encoded with your name. And it's not being sent tomorrow. It's being sent today, not when you're more qualified, more educated, more impressive. God says today is the day. The vault has today is the day already opened. The blessing has already been dispatched. Now all that's left is your response. But there's a reason it had to be spoken with urgency. Because just as God sends blessings, the enemy sends distractions. And right now, he's trying everything to keep you from recognizing what's being offered. That's why the doubt crept in the moment this message reached you. That's why your phone suddenly started buzzing. That's why something in your mind whispered, this can't be real. Because if you walk away now, the enemy wins. Let me say this as clearly as possible. This blessing is not an idea. It's an active release. This is not inspiration. It's instruction. God is not making a suggestion. He's issuing a command. Open the blessing. Receive the money. Do not miss it. This is time sensitive. The consequence is clear. Window is real. The consequence is clear. If you don't move in faith, the flow stops. You may ask, why money? Why no? And the answer is simple. Because God is shifting resources into the hands of the ready. And while others have prayed for power, fame, or platform, you've asked for provision, not for selfish gain, but for purpose. You've prayed, Lord, if you bless me, I will bless others. If you give it to me, I will give it back to you. Heaven heard that, and now the response is in motion. But you must not make the mistake of assuming money is separate from your faith. For too long, you've been made to feel guilty for wanting financial overflow, as if wealth and holiness can't coexist. But God says, I delight in the prosperity of my servant. The money coming your way is not meant to corrupt you. It's meant to elevate you. It's meant to amplify what's already in your heart. If your heart is aligned, the money will follow purpose. And if it isn't, the blessing won't last. That's why this money isn't being given to everyone. It's being released to theones who know how to carry it with humility. It's not being scattered randomly. It's being transferred strategically. That's why the warfare over your finances has been so intense. The enemy saw what was coming before you did, and he's been doing everything in his power to make sure you miss it. But today that power breaks. Today that resistance ends. You've struggled long enough. You've borrowed, hustled, begged, and sacrificed. But God says the season of scraping by is over. I'm replacing lack with abundance. I'm replacing scarcity with surplus. I'm replacing stress with strategy. And the money that's coming is not just a breakthrough. It's a setup. A setup for something much bigger than just you. This is seed capital for a divine assignment. This is funding for your next chapter. This is heaven's way of saying you're not going to have to fight for every dollar anymore. I'm sending it. But here's where it gets serious. The money can be released and still never reach you. That's why this moment matters. That's why God is speaking so loudly. Because the money is moving and your faith is the address. If your spirit doesn't say yes, it goes undelivered. If your agreement isn't spoken, the flow stops midair. God will not force you to receive what you don't believe is possible. That's the law of faith. It's how the kingdom operates. And today you're being asked to do just own thing. Open it, open the blessing, open your hands, open your heart. Not to fantasy, but to a divine reality. The kind of money that erases generational debt. The kind of money that builds homes, feeds families, funds visions. The kind of money that changes the atmosphere of your entire life. God isn't sending you a paycheck. He's sending you a spiritual transfer wrapped in obedience. But it can't be passively accepted. It must be activated. How? With belief, with agreement, with words. God created the world with words and he unlocks blessings the same way. That's why right now in this moment you must begin to speak, begin to declare, begin to say what you've been afraid to hope for. Because as soon as your words align with heaven's will, the door swings open and the money flows in. This is not manipulation. This is manifestation. This is not a gamble. This is a guarantee backed by God's word. Give and it shall be given to you. I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing you can't contain. Ask and you shall receive. These aren't metaphors, they are promises. And you've arrived at the fulfillment point. So the question remains, will you open it? Will you say yes to something that doesn't look logical but feels spiritual? Will you trust that what's coming is bigger than what you've lost? Because the money isn't coming to replace what's gone. It's coming to start something new, something holy, something generational, and it begins with you. You are not here by accident. This isn't a random moment. It's a scheduled encounter. You've walked through too much fire to ignore this. You've passed too many tests to doubt this. You've been prepared for this very moment. And now God is saying it's yours. But you must reach for it. So reach in your spirit, in your thoughts, in your words. Reach beyond doubt. Reach beyond fear. Reach beyond the lies you've believed about your worth and your future. God is not teasing you with promises. He is trusting you with provision. He is saying, I've seen enough. I've waited long enough. Now I'm sending it. I'm sending huge money, but you must open it or you will miss it forever. The weight of this moment is real. The urgency is holy. The door is open, but not for long. Heaven is waiting for one thing, your yes. This isn't imagination. It's not metaphor. What God is releasing is real, tangible, timed, and it's moving quickly. You've waited long enough, you've fasted. You've cried. You've wondered if your obedience was in vain, but heaven was never ignoring you. It was aligning you. And now the alignment is complete. The blessing is ready. The transfer has been signed in the spirit, but if you don't open the door now, if you hesitate, you risk losing what was meant to elevate you. The enemy's goal is not to stop the money. He can't. What's been released cannot be unreleased. But what he can do is make you doubt it's real. Make you scroll away, make you say, maybe later. The delay is all he needs. One moment of hesitation and the blessing returns to center. Not because God changed his mind, but because faith was not activated in time. This is why the Holy Spirit keeps pressing you, why your chest feels heavy, why something deep inside of you knows this isn't just another message. Because it's not. This is a divine delivery, a once-in-a-lifetime wealth blessing that carries not just value, but weight. There is responsibility attached to this money. Not burden, but destiny. You've been asking God to take you to the next level. This is the way. But not everyone is trusted with this kind of money. That's why most don't even sense the window when it opens. But you're different. Your spirit is awake. You're alert. That stirring you feel right now, that's confirmation. God is not teasing you with something unreachable. He is offering you what's already been prepared. The table has been set. The Ziyat is yours, but it will not wait forever. God says, I'm sending huge money today. Not a small shift, not a minor increase. Huge, massive outpouring level. The kind of money that doesn't just pay your bills, but builds something beyond your lifetime. And it's being sent today, not tomorrow. Not when you feel more ready. Now today. But it must be received correctly. God does not force provision into closed hands. You must receive it in faith, not fear, in full surrender, not skepticism. And the proof of readiness is not in saying, I want it, but in saying, I'm ready to handle it, because this kind of money isn't casual. It's sacred. It carries weight. It has power to shift bloodlines, to break generational curses, to set captives free. And that's why the enemy has been tormenting your finances for years. Because he knew long before you did that you were called to carry abundance. Not just for yourself, but for others. And now the moment has come to claim what's been withheld. But you must open it. That's the condition. The vault has been unlocked. The delivery has been issued. But the door must be open from your side. And if it isn't, the blessing will pass by. Not because you weren't worthy, but because you weren't willing to believe. The money that's being sent to you today is wrapped in divine trust. It's not a trust transaction test. It's a trust transaction. God is saying, I am placing something valuable in your hands. What will you do with it? And more importantly, do you even believe I would choose you to carry this? You've been told you're not ready, that people like you don't receive blessings like this, that you missed your chance. But that voice is not from heaven. It's the echo of delay, the voice of doubt, the whisper of the enemy trying to get you to abort your breakthrough in the final hour. You haven't missed anything. You haven't been disqualified. You are not too late. The blessing is here right now, hovering over your life like a cloud full of rain, waiting for the wind of your belief to burst it open. But time is short. Divine appointments don't stretch endlessly. They arrive, they hover, and then they move on. That's why the instruction is clear. Open it or miss it forever. There is no neutral option. There is no spiritual snooze button. You either agree with heaven or it closes without your name on it. You've asked God for change. This is how it comes. Not always through opportunity, sometimes through obedience. Sometimes through a word that sounds too good to be true, but too familiar to ignore. That's how heaven speaks. Not through the expected, but through the divine echo you can feel but can't explain. God is sending huge money today, and he's waiting to see how you respond. Your posture in this moment matters because the blessing is moving, and it's looking for a place to land. You've made space in your heart. Now make space in your faith. You may not know how it will come. It may not be a job, a person, or a call. It may arrive in a completely unexpected way, but when heaven sends, it never fails. It never delays. The only question is, will it find you believing, or will it move on in search of someone who will? Don't miss this, not because the money is the goal, but because the money is the sign. It's the evidence that what God spoke over your life is becoming visible. It's the marker that says, I see you, I choose you, I trust you. And right now the trust is being measured, not in perfection, not in performance, but in posture. Will you receive what heaven is sending, or will you close the door before it arrives? Say it again, even if your voice shakes. God, I'm ready. I receive it. I believe what you're sending is for me, and I will not miss it. This isn't just your blessing, it's your moment. And it's happening now. Heaven doesn't hesitate. It moves in moments. Precise, divine, undeniable, and right now that moment is yours. The window is open. The blessing is released. The wealth has been transferred, and your name is written on it in heaven's ink. But here's what few understand. God doesn't just send blessings to be admired. He sends them to be opened. The envelope is sealed, but your faith is the key. The funds are approved, but your belief is the password. God has declared, "I'm sending you huge money today," and that declaration still hangs in the air like thunder, waiting to echo. The atmosphere is full. The vault is unlocked. The angels are standing by. But the decision to receive, it's yours. Don't miss this. This isn't just about financial help. It's not about a temporary fix or a quick escape. It's about divine trust. God has seen your struggle. He's heard your private prayers, the ones no one else knew you whispered at night. And in response, he's sending provision. Not in small amounts, not in trickles, in fullness, in abundance, in power. But this is a moment that requires your action, your participation. You cannot stand at the door of breakthrough and remain passive. God won't force your hands open. He waits for your yes. This kind of blessing, this kind of money doesn't show up every day. It doesn't repeat itself. It's not something you scroll past and return to later. It's either received with faith or it's lost in hesitation. Don't let fear rob you. Don't let logic talk you out of what God has supernaturally approved. There are no formulas here, no shortcuts, no gimmicks. Just a pure, holy invitation to receive what's already been released. God says, "I'm sending you huge money today, but if you don't open it, you'll miss it forever." Let those words settle. Let them pierce through every doubt, every delay, every old belief that said, "This isn't for someone like me." Because heaven says otherwise. Heaven says you are worthy. Heaven says you are ready. Heaven says you are chosen. You're not too late. You're not too broken. You're not too far behind. In fact, this money, this holy provision, was scheduled to arrive at this very hour. Heaven knew you'd hear this now, not yesterday, not next week. Now, because this is the version of you that can handle it. And what is God asking in return? Not perfection, not performance, just surrender, just faith, just trust. He's asking you to believe what he has already declared, that he is your provider, your source, your answer, and that what's being released into your life today is a direct response to your faithfulness. This isn't just a transaction. It's a testimony in the making. When you open what God is sending, you'll remember this moment for the rest of your life. You'll remember the day everything changed, the day God sent huge money, the day you finally believed enough to receive. And when it happens, not if, but when, you'll know it wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't luck, it was Jesus, it was his word. It washes timing. It was his love made visible through provision. Let this be the moment you say yes. Say it in your spirit. Whisper it under your breath. Shout it if you have to. Yes, Lord, I open what you've sent. I receive the money you've released. I will not miss this blessing. And from this moment on, walk like it's already done. Speak like it's already yours. Move like the provision has already landed because of this. The shift has already happened in the spirit. Now your agreement brings it into the natural. If this word found you, it wasn't by accident. It was Jesus pursuing you with purpose. It was heaven knocking with a blessing in hand. And now all of heaven is waiting for your response. Lift your eyes. Take a breath. Let the weight of his promise wash over you. The worry is ending. The waiting is over. The wealth has been sent. You've received the message. You felt the stirring. Now it's your turn to respond. Jesus has blessed you with this message today. A message of hope. A message of divine money and heaven-sent provision. A message of love. Written in currency you didn't have to earn. Only believe for. So speak it now. Type it. Declare it. Let heaven and hell hear it. I receive this blessing from Jesus. I will not miss it. I believe what God has sent is for me. Amen. This is your moment. This is your money. This is your message. And this is your miracle.